Honestly, I think marketing is one of the most confusing things I've ever learned. Like, there are so much depth and different dimension to it. Where do you get your customers? What content do you put out there? What kind of platform should you use? Should you run ads? And ultimately, how do you actually scale this system? Now, in this video, I'm gonna share with you 7 key mindset that you can learn, not only to teach you something, but actually give you the fundamental way of thinking and how you should think to actually correct your own course along the way of marketing, so you're not gonna be driven by some tactics and short terms, but actually a long-term strategy that's gonna work for you. In fact, it's just like playing a chess game. It's not how many moves that you're gonna take, but it's actually taking the right moves at the right steps. So I've laid out 7 steps with 7 principles so you can take them in the right order to get the result that you wanted. Let's dive into it. Number 1, that we need to understand the difference between branding, marketing, and selling. Now, branding is the customer experience that they're associating with you or your company. It's what they perceive about you. It's the additional premium that they're willing to pay for that assurance that they know you're gonna do the right thing and delivering on your promises. That is branding. It's something really hard to measure, but it's only thing that's really gonna last. But also it's the hardest thing to build. Just like Nike, they have 437 million in 2019 on their balance sheet called a goodwill, and that's their branding. Meaning that actually treated as assets on your balance sheet. It's something that actually you build up. So the example in our world is the things that we give out to our audience. The value we give out without pitching our customers, the collaboration that we're doing with other people, with other experts. Now those activities are classified as branding. And so you cannot be expecting a return or a sales on the back of the branding instantly. Now, marketing is activities a company performs to get a lead or a sales. For example, I refer this to direct response, meaning every single word, images, and text and audios that we put out there, we expect an action perform on the things we put out there. It's what we call a CTA, call to actions, meaning that either we get a clicks, we get an opt-in, someone give us information, or if they're actually making a purchase on the back of the content we put out there. So it's something measurable and it's a matrix that we deploy. So we treat it as science. Now the good thing about marketing is generating your leads and sales, but it's only working with the size of the audience that you have. And so think about branding, it's actually put your awareness out there to get more people to notice about you. And marketing is actually converting those awareness into a lead and a paying client. So they kind of work hand in hand. And so what do you actually choose between marketing and branding? What has really come down to the length of the game that you decided to play in your space. If you want to get some short-term returns, then you deploy a lot of marketing and sales. But if you want to build a long-term lasting, like 10, 20, 30, 50 year, 100 years businesses, then you really want to spend a lot of time on your branding and market positioning. Now, sales is any activity that you perform to actually converting that lead to be a paying customers. Now, that exercise can actually perform by automations or softwares, or can actually perform by human, meaning in a chat, in a call, or a face-to-face meeting. And it all comes down to the type of product and services that you sell. The more expensive your service and products are, the more interactions and meaningful engagement relationship that you need to deploy by human, and the less product and services, you can almost perform that through automations and softwares. And obviously, the bigger the brand that you hold, the better that you're gonna sell without any human interactions. For example, if I'm gonna purchasing a ticket for Tony Urban event, he's not gonna have a chat with me, but I still have to pay for $8,000 to attending one of the seminars over 3 days. And so how do you choose between branding, marketing, and selling? Well, when I started my business, I only know how to actually do cold callings, and that really helped me to actually talk off my 2 businesses really quickly. But it was a lot less fun and it was really challenging. And so if I have some database to work with, that means I have some connections, followers online, or email database, existing client base, or any kind of network. I'll deploy selling and marketing to make sure I get some customer in the door, enough cash flow to support my growth in my business. Now, if I don't have any customer base, then I'll choose between branding and marketing. That way I can actually get some qualified awareness and a really quality audience and customer that I can actually work with. And for example, producing YouTube videos, you're gonna expect months and months, you're not gonna make anything out of it. But to go to LinkedIn and Instagram, finding the exact customer that you want to target and having that one-on-one chat and take them offline, having a sales meeting is probably way quicker to actually generating sales and money. Second mindset is choose one platform. context over content. Understand people's mindset are different. Now, when people on Facebook, they try to actually interact with their friends. When they're on LinkedIn, they try to actually build some connections. And when they're on Instagram, they try to looking for some cool stuff. And so which one do you choose? It's all come down to who's your client and where they hang out. For example, if I'm targeting individuals who can actually starting a business consulting online, then I'm gonna targeting mass market. Therefore, I probably choose Facebook and Instagram. Where if I'm actual accountant, I'm targeting a construction company who's doing $10 million a year, they titled founder, owner, or director, and then I'll probably go to LinkedIn because they give me a lot more search functionality. I can actually pinpoint my exact audience and connect with them and starting that conversation with them straight away. But mastering all functionality on one particular platform and actually do less, it's gonna allow you to win in the information age. For example, I'm mastering the Facebook ads. Then I'll be able to actually use the same psychology based on how to do a Google SEOs, how to do a YouTube SEOs. All that is kind of similar once you're understanding the entire customer journey from end to end. Now, the third mindset is a minimum viable audience. Now, the minimum viable audience becomes way more important compared to before because everyone is their own influencer and they have a voice out there. Imagine it's only a supply and demand games in the business. And so if you are the only cafe in your town, that you can get all the customers that you need in the area. But if there are 10 of them in the similar area, you have to be different in order to attract first group of people to come to you before you can actually expand your market share. And Kevin Kelly have introduced the mindset and the theory called 1,000 True Fans through his blog back in 2008. You can actually do a lot more study online, but literally meaning that if you have 1,000 true fans, they go where you go and they buy whatever you produce. That will be very much enough to make a living. And another legendary that I follow a lot, his name is Seth Godin, that you can actually follow. He elaborates a lot more on the 1,000 True Fans and he's actually breathed with it. Now, you can definitely go and make more impact, have hundreds and millions of customers and users and audience, but you gotta start with a minimal viable audience in order for you to really kick it off nicely and quickly. The fourth is a proof of concept. I've seen a lot of businesses try to actually scale their marketing without having a proof of concept in place. It means that they actually try all different random things and left with them, but they never be able to actually build a system and a machine for really a sustainable growth for that. And so you gotta be able to actually test and proven with a smaller audience before you can actually reach the masses. The fact that if we can't actually sell to like 5 or 10 customers through the exact science, then the chances we probably can't actually model that and we can't actually duplicate that process for a bigger masses. The word of proof of concept in our world, it meaning a niche plus offer equals results. Now, the niche is a group of people. The offer is what we do and how we do it. And the results, meaning that we have to successfully signing customers and they're actually happy with our product and services. So example could be I help accountants to get high value client through a done for you organic marketing. And the example of accountant is a group of people that we're targeting. And done for you organic marketing is what we do and how we do it. The result means that I actually go and find those group of people having a particular way of converting those audience to become my clients and actually delivering my services successfully. That means I have a proven proof of concept, means that this formula can be duplicated through all other platforms. So the process goes like this. Step 1 is we identify a group of people, either psychographic or geographic. And step 2 is we produce content to actually communicate our value and messages in front of them. And step 3 is we successfully actually sign them up as a client and delivering a really great, fantastic services, and they're happy with the outcome they get. Now, once we do that 3 to 5 times with the same hypothesis, meaning that we're then having a proof of concept, now it's time to actually scaling it. That leads to the next mindset, measure metrics. To keep your marketing consistent, we have to treat it like science. We have to measuring it on a weekly basis. So that's the input and the output. Only then we can actually report on it, measuring it, make adjustment, and actually launch it again to the market, actually getting a real feedback from our audience and customers, and then make an adjustment again. That's kind of the loop that we need to go through every single week to make sure that we continue improving and actually get the ultimate outcome. So we track 6 things. Number 1, number of piece of content we're actually putting out there. Number 2, how many connection followers that we're getting every single week. Number 3, how many views that we're actually getting on those content, which is awareness. Number 4, what's engagements that we're actually getting those content, that's likes, comments, and shares. And number 5 is how many leads that we're actually generating through those content. And number 6, which is how many sales that we make on the back of those content. Now, we always want to focus on the end result, which is how many sales that we make. And then we reverse engineering back throughout the 6 steps to see which metrics can we actually improve to make it better, so the ultimate result, which is sales, can be improved on a weekly basis. Number 6, turn on advertising. Once you have a proof of concept and some metrics in place, it's time to actually scale your business. Actually put in the right offer, the same offer and the message which has already worked in a small audience, and we're gonna reach out to mass audience to actually get more people to be aware of you and actually paying you. Now, it's a matter of mathematical games. So we want to make sure we're putting $1 in and actually getting $2 back out. Now, there are 2 ways of doing advertising. There's push advertising, there's a pull advertising. Pushing means that we actually putting content, interrupt our audience, actually putting in front of them to actually hook them up and actually showing them some value, and to get them taking actions, either give us an email address or actually taking the next actions to actually buy something from us. So that things like Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, or Instagram ads. Where pull marketing is search-based advertising, things like Google, SEO, and YouTube. This is where that we're expecting our perfect audience and customers actually searching us by us actually ranking through the actual algorithm. And the method that you're gonna use, it all depends if you think your customers actually gonna search the terms about your services and your product. And sometimes it could be both. For example, when I work with accountant, a lot of people will search tax return on Google. So yes, we can actually get customers by actually ranking in Google and in YouTube and things like in the search format. However, those are the low-end customers. Like I'm actually searching something, I'm actually shopping around. And if they want to get high-value customers, which for example could be a cash flow projections or could be advisory client for like a really high-end aged care businesses doing 50 millions, those business owners, they're not gonna search for a tax return accountant. So in that example, we need to craft some really high valuable offers and messages to actually put in front of them the right customer to get their attention to establish that relationship. In that case, we'll then use Facebook advertising. And if you're wondering what services should I provide and how to actually charge a high premium fees to really unlock your true value, I'll have a video showing you exactly how to do that step by step. The next one is outsourcing. Now, when it comes down to social media marketing and advertising, I highly suggest that you actually outsource your work, just because the algorithm changes every single day and it's really hard to actually catch up what's the now marketing. Now, outsourcing is gonna allow you to actually turn your marketing into a machine. So you may wonder, Simon, what do I outsource? Well, I will go and choose what are the activities that I don't enjoy doing, and I'm probably gonna outsource that first, so I can actually focus on something that I enjoy doing, which probably means that I'm actually going to do a really good job when I actually enjoy the other part. And for me, I hold the DNA in our business, meaning I hold the way how we communicate with the customer, which is the videos, the written words, the actual emails, because those are the actual messages I want to deliver to my customers and my audience, and those market positioning will change from time to time. But what I won't do is I won't actually learn the mechanics of it, because there's no point to actually mastering the algorithm mechanics of Facebook ads this month, and 2 months time it changes again. I just don't have enough time to actually learn the mechanics of everything. But I do need to get a report on it. I do need to know what's been changing and what's trending. And I do need to give my strategy and thoughts into the actual mechanics, so the people who is the how-to person can actually do it for me. Now, there's a pretty good theory that you either finding the what, which is how to actually learn how to do it, or you can actually outsource to the who. So it really depends what stage of life and where you're at in your business. So let's cover the 7 mindset that we'll cover throughout this video. First is understanding the difference between branding, marketing, and selling. Second is to choose one particular platform to actually mastering that process to get really good at that. Third is to understanding and actually position yourself with the minimal viable audience to start with before you reach to the masses. And fourth is to have a proof of concept in place. And fifth is to actually measure your metric so you have a precise procedure and a system in place. And sixth is to turn on advertising so you can actually scaling it. And last is outsourcing. That's where you're gonna actually saving on time to actually scale your business by leveraging other people's time. There you have it, the 7 mindset. Now, if you truly like what you've seen so far, then please like and subscribe to my channel where I actually share with you the latest tactics and strategy about marketing, sales, and entrepreneurship. And by the way, I'm actually learning all my stuff from people who's in the trenches actually doing it, not from people who know how to teaching it. So if you actually a practitioner that you actually doing any marketing, sales, and getting clients online, so then please share your thoughts about your mindset in this video so I can actually exchange my thoughts with you in the comment section. Now, I appreciating you and appreciate your time. Before now and then, you're having an amazing day and I'll speak to you real soon. Bye for now.